this situation, we can see that the Karina can go for the different people. We can go straight for the Farsa. There are a lot of targets on the board, but this time around, Key is going to be the target.
Ooh, Key gets bursted down, but unfortunately for ONIC Esports, they're unable to secure the kill. But Keyboy already pressuring away, making sure that ONIC Esports have that advantage with the roaming Farsa. The wings by wings is just so critical, so much more utility, aside with the stun as well. So now we take a look at the talent predictions by Axe. And it's actually quite the balanced mix.
Yeah, Arashi and Papulong should join the English broadcast, and you should go over to the
on.
Indonesian broadcast.
Hang on.
Maybe because 2 English casters went for BTR here. Hey, what made you go for BTR, Eterna?
I just think BIGETRON Alpha's composition is a little bit more flexible, right? They don't have to go for a particular momentum-based play because they are and have opted to go with the Matilda. Whereas ONIC Esports, I think, is going to rely heavily on Keyboy to look for those moments and for the rest of the members to follow up on this. So very clear winning condition there, whereas BIGETRON Alpha a little bit more flexible.
I think the key situation that makes me vote for ONIC Esports is actually their mid lane threat. As we saw right there, barely with the guiding wind is Moreno able to escape. Max now waiting for a moment here, but Kyrie will be able to show him away. In the mid lane, having the clear from the Grok and the Farsa will allow ONIC Esports to be a lot more aggressive and a lot more proactive in ganking the side lanes, and we've seen that that is a winning pattern for a lot of teams in the second leg of MPL ID Season 10.
Neutral objective control, the main win condition for both ONIC Esports and BTR early on. BIGETRON Alpha able to find that control on the first turtle, but Max will just go back to the purple buff first. Kyrie doing the same onto the orange buff, but Kyrie has been poked down by Key. This is why the Matilda is solid in the early game, right? That poke is pretty insane just with the base damage alone.
Like, even if ONIC Esports want to go for a setup, they're caught really, really low. And a lot of people and a lot of casters have said, if you're low, you might as well be dead because you are not a factor when it comes down to those objectives. But look at this.
Oh, Key able to dodge away from both the final blow and the lethal counter. Still will be taken down. A trade coming in as in the top side. CW is forced to use the sprint defensively. Down below, Cerezo trying to cut the waves with the help of Max in the enemy jungle invading. BIGETRON Alpha still behind in gold. Objective for kill. Arashi, who took the lead there?
Who took the lead? Well, the gold difference is very, very equal. They're trading the turtle for a kill, essentially. I think, for the most part, it's still beneficial for BIGETRON because they have the more aggressive composition right now. But with time, ONIC Esports will get more momentum. And with the range advantage, with more flexibility in how they want to approach the teamfight, I think they have a lot more ways to confuse BIGETRON Alpha when it comes to the late game setup later on.
Oh, be careful, Moreno. The wild charge is there, but he's not going to be able to use it just there. Key, caught, has the guiding wind, has a purify as well. Not really in a threat to right now, not a position where he should be scared of. But again, it's just him opening up the map a little bit for his team.
He did a lot of damage to CW there, and that definitely swings the lane advantage to the side of Marky, kind of. But Kyrie making a play for the purple buff, it might be too dangerous. Feathered Airstrike is opened up.
Lethal counter and retribution popped in by Kyrie. Key able to cancel out the feathered airstrike. Drian backing off. BTR able to find mid control, but they lose their purple buff. Kyrie gonna have a 3 buff advantage here as Marky goes in for a solo kill with the crossbow attack. Able to find it here as Keyboy is looking for that wild charge. Beautiful rotations from BTR by Key and Max to stop that trade from happening from ONIC Esports.
Yeah, this is looking really good for BIGETRON Alpha, and this is one of the reasons why I adored the Matilda pickup, because one of the main things that's going to carry ONIC Esports in those team fights is going to be that feather airstrike, right? We've seen how much damage it can do. We saw Udil even steal a neutral objective, and because of the damage, because of the buff with the glowing wand as well, there's just so much to it. But if it can be cancelled, that's a huge resource taken away from ONIC Esports.
Black Shoes popped in. Moreno caught in the bad situation as the feather airstrike will be popped to deal damage onto him. Retry battle coming in. Guardian's barrier popped in. CW jumps in with a blazing duet onto Moreno, dealing a whole lot of damage. But in the back line, Cerezo is going to be able to dish out a lot of damage on to Boots and Keyboy. Max looking for the assassination. Comes in onto Keyboy with a flicker. He's able to get out. Max baited in with the lethal counter. Kyrie takes Max down. It's a 1-for-1 trade. No, it's a 2-for-0 trade for ONIC Esports.
And now they're going to have the better setup here. We can see the contest coming up, but the Circling Eagle goes in.
Very aggressive Guardian's Barrier. Beautiful by Keyboy, stopping Marky from getting anything done in this team fight. The better airstrike as well.
Oh, no.
Sony Sorizo, lethal counter popped in by Kyrie. They don't even need it. Drian is on his signature hero. The last Kage has been popping the feather airstrike literally every single time it's off cooldown.
Ooh, Moreno going for a very aggressive play. He will be forced to Black Shoe away. And ooh, that is a very close call for Drian. He will be able to escape though. This is what they talked about, man. More crowd control, more range. They just kite back away from BIGETRON Alpha. And with the Matilda in the hands of Key, they cannot engage in that decisive of a manner. They need to play the distance management a lot more smartly because that is the advantage that BIGETRON Alpha has.
Stuff.
It is tough, especially if you're going against ONIC Esports. 1 or 2 mistakes in the game can actually cost you the entire game, right? That one misplay coming in from BIGETRON, losing that team fight, losing 2 members has given ONIC Esports the space, but now 3 members going very aggressively onto Kyrie, but even that is not going to take him down.
Man, that was scary for BTR. They walked into enemy jungle. They thought they could get Kyrie, and 3 other ONIC members shows up from the mid lane after the wave clear.
I think it's very, a very interesting move from Kyrie there. He was clearing his purple buff, and then he passed towards the gold buff, knowing that BIGETRON Alpha were trying to take it. So it just shows his awareness in the jungle and for which camps are being taken and where the opposing team is. So that knowledge of where BIGETRON Alpha is pathing towards will be so useful for him to, path around and get optimal farm and gank opportunities for his team, ONIC Esports.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, 1,000 gold lead right now for ONIC Esports. And you can see that CW has started to reach his power spike.
Yep, and with that golden staff in the next fight, he was able to burst down, I think, Moreno in the previous fight. And now with the core items completed, it's going to be a bit more dangerous for BIGETRON. If they get comboed by a wild charge, by a feathered airstrike into a blazing duet, that's a whole lot of damage. So they need to try and have some better spacing as Kyrie gets the turtle.
Lethal counter retribution, very hard to contest there. Kyrie able to get himself a 1-level lead now on Max. Not looking good for BTR as ONIC Esports are building on this gold lead. It was a 1,000 gold lead, now already built up to 1.7k as they've also rotated CW down below, putting the Benedetta up against the 1-1 up top.
You can see that Boots already has the Bloodlust Axe, so the sustain game is going to be so much more difficult for Sorizo to try and deal with. But of course, if you take a look at Marky, he has the Corrosion Scythe, he has the Demon Hunter Sword as well, so a lot of damage. But Leon with the Lightning Truncheon, the burst damage is going to be so much more painful right here.
Oh, Flicker wild charge with a lethal counter. Doesn't even give Marky the opportunity to make any outplays possible. Moreno instantly with the black shoes backs off. ONIC Esports take full control of that top side. They're looking for more. Guardian's Barrier again. Moreno taken down by CW with a blazing duet under the turret. But in the back lines, Rihan's going to get taken down by Max, who's looking for more. Sorizo as well coming in. Ice Queen 1 bought with the Athena shield from Key and Moreno. But at this point, it's still ONIC Esports who are able to convert on an objective.
Yeah, they're playing the map really well. I mean, every time they go for a team fight, you can see the 4-1 rotation that BIGETRON Alpha was supposed to be aware of, right? And this is interesting. Every time they go into a team fight, ONIC Esports, they're very good at distracting the opponent, where another member is going to be able to get an objective on the board. Meanwhile, we can see here that Kyrie has actually stolen that blue buff away from Max, so no blue buff for Max in this upcoming Lord fight.
ONIC needs to be a bit more calculative though, because there, CW got caught out.
Yeah.
He died to the tower.
Yeah.
He's made it out, and then he stepped back into range and lost his life as a result. So not ideal, but of course that's only one moment in the whole game. Overall, ONIC Esports still has more control, and that range difference and the burst difference, man. They don't require any crowd control when your members don't even survive long enough. But Key going very aggressively under the turret.
Ooh, that could have been bad, right? The Guardian's Barrier was just off by a bit. He was caught. Keyboy now trying to open up the map with the power of nature. You're absolutely right though. CW way too aggressive, going back with very low HP.
And now with the Lord being zoned away from ONIC Esports, right? They are trying their best to try and get control and try and see if they can get a pick off here, because the more he tries and finds info, the lower he gets with all this poke damage being thrown at him.
the Retribution battle is going to be very important here, but it does seem like ONIC has the better setup. We'll see how this goes down.
Circling Eagle popped in. Kyrie gonna be the target right now. Is that's gonna be the Lord taking low, but the crossbow tang was popped in. Kyrie still able to find its mark. Wind of Nature popped in by CW, taken down by Max. Boots caught in the bad situation as everyone dives towards him. It's ONIC Esports losing out on the fight, but they are able to secure the Lord. Not that bad of a trade, but if BIGETRON Alpha are able to convert on more, it's gonna be bad. So Rizzo reads out where Drian is, able to stop him from recalling, and this is it. The conversion by BTR.
Kyrie needs to be very careful though, because he opted not to go for that team fight. He opted to go into the jungle of BIGETRON Alpha to take once again that purple buff. So that's going to be the way that Kyrie wants to play it here in match number 1. And you can see that the Lord has already marched in that bottom side.
Oh, I don't know about this. Kyrie jumped in onto 2 members, Max and Moreno. Meanwhile, Key able to zone the other members away, but the Guardian's barrier once again.
Oh no!
He's able to pin Key down. He has the guiding win, can get out. He baited a few resources there. Lord is taken to a quarter of HP, but the Feather Airstrike is popped, taking half of Marquis' HP. Going for the siege now down below. Key looking for a cheeky engage. GW jumps in with Kyrie, trying to get the lethal counter, but Max is in the bush. Opens up the map a bit. BTR with the defense, still holding on to that gold lead.
They're trying as much as they can to be able to just squeeze out all they can from that Lord push. But BIGETRON Alpha, with a really good defense, has actually been able to defend for the most part. They lost a few turrets, but not yet one of the inhibitors. As once again, ONIC Esports still with the control.
I think the key factor here for these big fights is the duration, right? The longer the fight goes, Lilia and Wanwan both can do a lot more damage over a long course of time. But ONIC Esports, they have to get their damage out quick. It's a combo-based situation.
Oh, they used everything onto Sorizo, literally everything. 3 ultimates actually popped in, but BTR aren't able to really punish ONIC Esports right now. Boots looking for a play, just goes in for the cut into the bottom side wave. As both teams disengage for now, ONIC are able to recover the gold lead they lost early on.
Looking at the items here, Marino already with the Ice Queen's 1, so trying to slow everyone down, but ONIC Esports, so dynamic, so dangerous, they really can't or hope to try and match the aggression. They're constantly pushed away from their objectives, and that is how ONIC Esports keeps getting control, keeps getting grounds in the map right here. The goal difference initially wasn't that far apart, but ONIC Esports, due to their composition, they just have a lot more threat to push BIGETRON Alpha away with.
They're pressuring every single lane right now, and it's very difficult for BIGETRON Alpha because they're roaming as one, and that's actually been capitalized by ONIC Esports. We see Boots not really being a part of those team fights because he's roaming around the map. He's pushing that top lane, and then he rotates back to the bottom, trying to put that pressure on the side lanes when they go for those objectives. And one by one, all the infrastructures from the side of BIGETRON Alpha just fall.
Now ONIC Esports are the ones playing with the 1 and 4 essentially split. They go for Boots splitting away, but now there's a trap being set by ONIC Esports. They go for Sorizo.
While charge blazing the wet feather, airstrike, throw everything and the kitchen sink at Sorizo. And BTR will still not be able to really answer that play with anything right now. They can't go for the Lord Force because Kyrie's there with 2 retributions practically. And ONIC Esports basically out-macroed BTR. Key now taken low, getting poked down. Marky looking for the play, but oh my god, the final blow comes into the back line. Still Boots able to dash away with the eye for an eye. Feather airstrike popped again onto Marky, taking half of his HP away. Still able to sustain for now. CW jumps in once again. Almost all the weakness points pointed up. Marky is going for the clear, and that's going to be the retribution and the lethal counter by Kyrie. Key bringing Max away. Lord's Lane once again for ONIC Esports, presented by Samsung Galaxy A series.
Look at Kyrie. Kyrie wastes no time at all. Just goes for the objectives again and again, man. If they take something, they keep going for the next thing on the map.
Wow.
Kyrie is able to steal the purple buff yet again. Complete dominance right here. And man, that play to actually trap Sorizo in the macro department is just so good, man. On a strategic level, ONIC Esports is operating on a different class.
Did he even use the retribution to steal that away?
It was a basic
Wasn't
attack.
on, right?
It was a basic attack. It wasn't even a spell. It wasn't even a skill. Oh my god.
Yeah, not looking great for BIGETRON Alpha. I mean, you could see that BIGETRON Alpha was trying to go for the same strategy that ONIC did, trying to use Sorizo. But even if Sorizo went for that split push, you saw exactly what happened. He's just gone with all the members from ONIC Esports being able to roam around the map so quickly, like Drian on the Farsa. And the cooldown is insane on that Feather Airstrike, no?
It's very, very short. I think it was lowered in the patch, the recent patch as well. Of course, right now it's opened up yet again. Half HP gone from the members of BIGETRON Alpha.
Oh my god, Marky's forced back off. Look at Keyboy, he's zoning everyone away. Just walks up like a Chad. Absolutely showing dominance against BTR. Top side base server taken down. They're looking for the siege all around now. Bottom side, pushed in by Boots. Mid lane, gonna be the next target for ONIC Esports. BTR on full defense mode. They can't really look for any crazy plays. The engages will rely on Sorizo, but the Feather Airstrike just bursts them down, and CW is able to zone them away with a blazing duet. Sorizo in the back line is trying to deal damage, trying to soak damage, but he's gonna be taken down, melted instantaneously.
Man, ONIC Esports, they do have the better high ground as well. It was a really good try for Key to deny that Feather Airstrike from popping off, but the damage had already been done, and now, once again, ONIC Esports pushing in.
Wild charge by Keyboy. Say goodbye to Moreno. He gets deleted by the Feather Airstrike as well. CW picks up a turret. Final blow being used to clear out the waves. 3 waves cleared out. Marky needs to look for the crossbow tank, but Boots is able to jump out with the eye for an eye. Crossbow tank finally popped in onto Boots, but he's still able to survive, and CW comes in with the help of Drian, with the help of Kyrie. It's a wipe out. Sorizo respawns, denying the wipeout, but still, ONIC Esports are able to dominate BTR in game 1.
That was a really one-sided showing.